Hi everyone, it's Dia with Eat, Run, Plan, Repeat, and I'm here today with an update on my Blue Traveler's Notebook. If you watched the unboxing on this planner, you'll know that I'm using it as my son's junk journal. I decided to do this because my kids are very active, they do a lot of things, and I love to document their lives. And I used to put a lot of their stuff into my daily journal, but I really like to have this more for writing. I do still put stuff in here every now and then, but pictures and things I get, but by the time I add their stuff on top of it, this thing would just be so fat I couldn't even write in it. I love the way that looks, but it's just not functional for me. So because I kind of wanted to keep this just my stuff, I decided to make each of my kids a junk journal, and this one is my son's. Just so you know, you don't need to make journals just for your little kids. My son is 18 years old and he just left to college, but he sends me pictures and stuff all the time, and I've been putting them in here. I love to look back on these to see everything we've done together and to see what he's up to, and I'm sure one day his kids will enjoy looking through it too. I'll go ahead and link the unboxing to this planner if you want to check it out. I've seen this one on YouTube a lot and it's just so darn beautiful, and I love the camel strap against it, and it's so soft. I wish I took it out more just to get a little more wear and tear on it, but it has a few scratches and it's wearing beautifully. So I had a few people ask to see what's inside these journals. I don't put anything really personal in here, so I don't mind sharing it with you guys. I guess I'll just go ahead and open it up and show you what I've done. I haven't quite finished it yet, but it's a start. So if you've been following me on YouTube or Instagram for any length of time, you'll know that I'm a very left brain person. So being creative does not come natural to me. I have to work at it. I love to watercolor and paint. I just really suck at it. So I recently decided to go ahead and take some online classes, and I'm taking them with Dear Ann Art. That's her Instagram name too. I'll go ahead and link it down below. I've been enjoying it so far. That's what this is. So because I'm working to be more artistic in these journals, I decided to take a class. You should follow her Instagram. She paints beautifully and her classes are really easy to follow. I finally went out and got some actual watercolor paper because painting on watercolor paper is way different than painting on regular paper or Tomoe River paper. So let's just go ahead and get started. I just want to say really quick, this inside is so smooth and pretty. The inside to my brown one is a little bit more rough and nappy, but I just love how smooth this one is. I have this folder in here just to store things that I plan to use in his journal. I think I've already shown you the cover to this before, so it just has a little map of his campus. He goes to ASU, the West Campus, and his major was Applied Mathematics, and he should be graduating in class of 2022. On the back, I just stuck a bunch of stickers that they sent us. They're always sending us stickers and different stuff, especially before he headed off to college, so I just stuck those on here. I need to find some creative way to fill in the gaps. Okay, I don't really do too many journal flip throughs, so this is a little weird for me. And like I said, I really work hard to be creative. I just see it come so natural to some people, but for me, it takes a little bit of work. So I just stuck one of these Target pockets on the inside right here, the clear pocket, and I stuck my husband's and my son's plane tickets in here from when they went to orientation this summer. In June, we actually took a trip up there, all of us, including my dogs, to check out his campus. My dogs are San Diego dogs, so the heat was like way too much for them. I don't know if I'll ever take them with us again, or at least not during the summer months. So I just did this little tip-in thing here. I just stamped one of my little bears and road trip at the top, and then wrote a little bit about it. While we were up there, we were just trying to escape the heat and stopped for some food. We went to Blanco Tacos and Tequila. We're actually getting one of these in San Diego, and I'm really excited because the food was really good, and it was actually so good that we scarfed it down and forgot to take pictures of it. These pictures are actually from Grubstat. So right here I was trying to play with watercolors a little, but I really have no clue how to use watercolors, which is why I'm trying to learn. And just did a little bit of stamping too. This is the plane ride that my husband and my son took to go to his orientation. His friends gave him a going away card, and this was the flap to the envelope, and I just stuck it in here. I'm trying to be creative. I'm trying to find stuff to put into these journals that are just a mesh of who they are. So here he is on the plane. My husband gave him the window seat, which is a really big thing because it was his first time. This is just the wrapper to some socks one of his friends gave him. They were ASU socks. Here's a few pictures that he posted posted on Snapchat, and of course I screenshotted them and printed them up. This was a little dog that started following them around. This was my husband's boarding pass. Just stuck that in there. So while my son was at orientation, my husband went out for a drink and did a little bit of work. And I know my kids call me stalkers because I follow them. Actually, we follow the whole family on Friend Finder. You never know. And if you're not hiding anything, what's the big deal if I know exactly where you are? It could only benefit you if something goes wrong. So while he was at orientation, I just took this screenshot on my phone of where he was at on campus. After orientation, they did manage to find a bowling alley that was open, so they went and played a little bit of pool and did some bowling. My son sucks at bowling. This was just an envelope that something came in, financial aid, to send back, and I didn't use it, so I just stapled that in here too. They went out to sushi while they were there. That's a family favorite of ours. And just going with mistakes, this picture was actually supposed to be portrait, but I messed up and just embraced it and said, oh well. So a week after my son came back from orientation, he graduated from high school. This is just a panoramic picture of the football field, my daughter, my son, me, and my husband. This is their stepmom, and that is my son and my daughter, and this is them with their stepmom. So this was my son's last homework assignment in calculus, and he was so happy to be done with it. It just looks like a foreign language to me. So I thought I would put that in here. Memories. Okay, so I know a lot of you will probably disagree with me on this one, but ever since my son was 17, he was talking about getting a tattoo. He said when he turned 18, he was gonna get a tattoo. He has a job, he's going off to college. He was gonna do it with or without me, so I asked that if he did do it, he let me find somebody and let me go with him. And of course, he loved the idea, so we found Full Circle in San Diego, and we got an awesome tattoo artist. This was just my son looking at some of the artwork on the walls. This is his tattoo artist and us, tattoo artist at work. And here's his tattoo. Everybody asks me, what does it mean? What's the meaning of it? He likes shapes. He likes geometric shapes. He's had this in his head for a year now, and that's what he wanted. So that's what he got. And while I was at it, my husband signs his signature with a little bear paw, and I've always wanted one, so I went ahead and got a tattoo at the same time he did. Mine's a lot smaller. Before he left, he went to the San Diego Pride Parade with a couple of his friends, and they had a good time. We go every year. This is the first time he went with friends and without me. Okay, so my son worked at Pavilions, and he works in the Starbucks there, and he is the only guy that works there, so all of his friends are female. So before he left to college, they had like a pampering night and did a face mask on him and did pedicures and whatever else. This is just him and a group of his friends. They all went out to dinner on his last day of work. This is my son's girlfriend, Allie. So this is when my son left. The day before he left, my daughter had her cheer retreat, so she didn't come with us to drop him off. We went out to breakfast, and then he went with us to drop her off at retreat. The very next morning, my husband, my son, and I headed out to Arizona to go take him to his dorm, road trip number 2. So here's some pictures at the stop along the way, my son sleeping. And then this is when we got to his school. They had like welcome back Sun Devil signs. So the actual check-in day was on Saturday, but my husband and I shot a wedding on Saturday, so we couldn't take him until Sunday. I felt a little bad because the whole big hoopla thing was on Saturday, welcoming everybody to the dorms, and it was pretty quiet on Sunday when we got there, but I don't know, I guess we didn't have to wait in any lines for anything. That's just his boarding pass. I'm not sure what that's from. This is just the little envelope that my son's room key came in. This was on their door, which was really funny because he wasn't there for it. We didn't get there until the 12th. So this is my last day with him. Growing up, I always took him to McDonald's. It was just a thing that we did when it was just him and I, and he would play on the playground. So it was fitting that we went to McDonald's for our last meal together in Arizona. And as you can see, I tried to paint it horribly. He let me take one last picture with him, and that was probably the hardest goodbye I have ever had to say. Watching him drive away was the hardest thing ever. I cried off and on for 2 weeks and still randomly cry. So from this point on are pictures that he sends me because he knows I obsess about this stuff. So every once in a while I'll get a picture from him. This is just the flags out front of his campus. He went to the mall with some of his roommates just to kind of check out things in the area. It's hard to see this, but this is looking out onto the lawn at the gym. My son is not a gym person, but because he kind of has a lot of time on his hands before school started, he started going to the gym. And then he ate like this. This picture I actually printed because I was scrolling through my phone and saw this picture of his bedroom before he left, and it just broke my heart because I miss seeing it look like that. But very quickly after he moved, my daughter moved into his room, and this is just her bed in his room, and I took a picture of it because it has his little dog that he's had since he was a little kid, and she sleeps with it every night now. She misses her brother. And of course, everybody knows how hot it is in Arizona. So he's been hanging out at the pool a lot lately. This is the gym and this is the pool at the gym. This is him at the gym. I took another screenshot of that. This was a total fail. I printed this out and I wanted to glue it in and I didn't have any, what is it called, decoupage. So I kind of tried to just glue it in myself and by just painting glue on it, and it was a little too thick, so I added a little bit of water and then all the color just started to bleed everywhere. But that's Sparky. Next is a very goofy picture of my son, and that is his roommate Anthony. They get along really well. He was so relieved to realize that him and his roommate would get along so well. This is him FaceTiming his girlfriend. He bought a skateboard to get around campus on, and this is some of the food at the cafeteria, which he kind of quickly got tired of. So when my son was in high school, he was not involved like socially or anything outside of just attending classes. He was just not into high school. College is a little different. He decided to go to a football game, and he went to his first college football game. They get in free, which is really awesome. He got these little like keychains he's gonna send me, and he took a picture of ASU's Tempe campus while he was down there. This is me being creepy again and screenshotting a picture of him at the football field. And then this is ASU's student section, Inferno. So he had a lot of fun. He said he enjoyed watching the game, but it was 49-7, and he said after a while that just got kind of boring. Okay, so my son is a very plain kind of kid, but the one thing he does love is his shoes, and he sent me a picture of these shoes. I don't think you can tell. Let me see if I can. They have little cactuses on them. So he custom ordered those and wants the whole family to get them, but I don't think so. So I tried to paint a little cactus. I actually did this after I did my first basics class. Like I said, it is a lot different painting on regular paper. This is actually tea-stained paper than it is to paint on watercolor paper, but I felt like I had a little more control than I have in the past. So this is my little cactus attempt. And this is where I've finished. I know on the front I said that my son is doing applied mathematics, and he decided that it's not what he really wants to do. He's taking a computer class right now as well, and he's decided to change his major to applied computing. So this is just like the first year of classes that he'll be taking. I just printed those up, and then on a post-it, I just typed on my typewriter that he's changing his major and saying he's getting back to his roots. I was always very into computers. I didn't graduate from college, but I took many computer classes in college, which actually comes in very handy now. And my mom was really into computers, and my grandfather was really into computers and computer programming. So I'm not surprised that this is what he's chosen as a major. So that's it. I have a couple more pages left. I don't know if I mentioned it. I made this journal. All I did was get some craft paper and then some regular paper, and I tea stained it, and then just things like lined paper. I didn't want to make it too thick. I think it's only 10 pages. because I didn't know if I was gonna be able to fill it up or not, how much I would really put in here or how much time I would take doing it. And surprisingly, I love doing this and he sends me stuff all the time. So this thing is filling up pretty quickly. We're actually going to go see him at the end of October for Parent Weekend. So I'm sure I'll get a lot of pictures at that time and fill this up quickly. Okay, so that's it. I have no idea if that's how you're supposed to do a journal walkthrough. I usually don't do them, so hopefully I didn't bore you too much. Hopefully you got some ideas. I can't wait to learn how to paint a little better. I'm really working on being more creative. I love to watch videos of people doing their art journaling, and I strive to be as good as them someday. So I hope you enjoyed this very basic flip through of my son's junk journal. I have one for my daughter too. It's not quite as full yet, and if you'd like to see that, just go ahead and leave the comments below that you'd like to see it, and I'll make a video. So as always, if you like this video, I'd appreciate if you hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.